Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, still a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 7 with my Tampa Bay Lightning Historical Challenge. So folks, I did it again. And I am not talking about a Britney Spears song. I did it again. So prior to shooting the video, what I usually do, I have my little routine. I look through, my team, where we're at, the ratings, what's going on. And then I look at the trading block. And I was starting to prepare a speech of sorts in my head where I was going to tell you all about how, I didn't make a trade because there wasn't anybody that was interesting on the block. But then there was. So then, of course, I had to, play around for 10 minutes to make a trade work. That should make us better, I think. I hope. Because the situation is that yet again we are playing right above 500. That is not good enough, and we need to get over the hump. So yeah, I made a trade offer. It's with a direct rival too, but I think it's going to help my team. We'll see. I had a lot of trades that I attempted that kind of backfired on me, so I guess we'll see. So the trade is probably going to go through here in a couple days. So I'm not going to say. I'm going to keep the suspense going. But yeah, so we're 8 in the East. We're healthy. At least we have that going, right? And yeah, we are 5, 4, and 1, which is good for 8 in the East. Lots of room for improvement. That's for sure. So let's go ahead and get started here in November of 1999. So I'm really going all in here. As you can see, I'm trading, everything, every pick. I'm trading every player that's, has any potential or whatever to try to get better. William Davidson is very happy with my work. We're not playing that great, buddy. Oh yeah, Rob Blake gets to come back. Which means that Stan Niskash is going to go down. Alright, so my trade went through. It's a pretty big one, at least I think. Alright, so Patrick Elias is sidelined with the Kings, so that's not too good. He was, I kind of talked about how he became the de facto first line center for the Kings now that Gretzky retired. Well, now he's hurt for 7 weeks, so that's not too good for him or the Kings. Alright, and then we have those guys, and then my trade. Alright, so I traded with Washington to get a 25-year-old Sergei Gonchar. I had to pick up Todd Elick also for them to want to make the trade with me. In return, I am giving up Adrian Aucoin, Ruslan Fedotenko, my first round draft pick. My 2002 draft picks are showing now, so I'm getting rid of that to bolster my team right now. And the rights to Martin Avlat. That one makes me sad a little. I really liked Marty Avlat when he played for the Sens in real life. Even though we didn't really have room for him for when he first entered the league, because on right wing we had Alfredson and Marianosa, but still. So yeah, I got Sergei Gonchar. Sergei Gonchar is a left shot, and I'm kind of still struggling to find good left-handed defenseman. So here's one. So yeah, I had to let Adrian Aucoin go. I thought about going with him for the trade because his talent and potential went up to 2.5 stars. So he was a 2-star player for the longest time. So he kind of went up, and he didn't have a point this season. And he was a right-handed shot playing on the left. And I was like, let's see if I can get Washington to give me Gonchar, and it happened. Alright, so now I have one too many player, and it is Tadelic, so he's going down. Well, he has to clear waivers first. Awesome. Pretty excited about that trade, so let's see how it backfires on me or something. Yes, I know, I probably should have gone for a goaltender. I know, but I'm thinking if we are so much of a powerhouse, maybe it's not gonna matter. There's other teams that are able to, win consistently in this game with alpha star goaltenders. I've seen it multiple times, and so have you if you've been watching me, so we'll see what happens with that. All right, so the first game of November is going to be in Atlanta against the Thrashers. The Thrashers are not doing too good in their first year so far. They are 1-6-3, which is good for dead last in the East. Now, we just made a trade, and now it's going to tell me that I can't continue because I need to give numbers, even though I didn't have the thing before. All right. Oh yeah, Tadelic, I'm totally gonna give you Teppo Numinen's number. He's a bit upset. Yeah, right. Alright. Right, so Johan Edberg is going to be in net for us for that game. He's going to be facing Roman Turek. Go Lightning, go, of course. And we won the first game of this month, 4-3. Right, so shots were tied, 31 apiece. Matt Sundin was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Vinny Prospel was the second star of the game. He had 2 goals, and Steve Ruchin was the third star with 2 assists. So Atlanta scored the first goal in the first period, then Vyacheslav Kozlov scored from Rob Blake and Steve Ruchin. It was tied at 1. Then the Thrashers scored 2 more goals before the end of the period, and it didn't look too good for us. We were down 3-1 after 1. Then in the second period, Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Matt Sundin and Ryan Smith. It was 3-2 Atlanta after 2. And then in the third period, Matt Sundin scored from Bill Guerin and Keith Kitchuk, and then Matt Sundin from Steve Ruchin and Scott Young. 4-3, the Lightning victory in this one. Nice little game. We came back from behind. I like that. To show some character on the road, especially. I like that. Sergei Fedorov extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 goals against the Kings. And Jimmy Langenbrunner has a good game playing for Ottawa. He had 4 assists against Washington. Alright, so you know what is the one thing I forgot to check? I forgot to check who Gonchar played with in that game. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. We're going to look at it. Alright, so Gonchar didn't get a point in that game, but he was +2. So for those of you who like that statistic. All right. We're playing in Pittsburgh now. So Pittsburgh is not doing all that hot this season. I'm sure they're still going to be tough. All right, so Antonin Staviana is available on waivers. Sergei Fedorov extends his point streak to 14 games with an assist. Excuse me, an assist against the Carolina Hurricanes. And Jan Bulish is back from suspension, playing for the Blues. Alright, so we are in Pittsburgh. The Pens are 5-5-1. That's good for 12 in the East. That's not a spot we're used to see them. Let's see here what they have going on. So only 1 injury, and it's a playable injury to Pavel Kubina. In net, they have Rossetti and Jean-Sébastien Aubin, and you know, he played for them in real life, so I don't know if they drafted him or if he started. No, they have to have. They must have drafted him. All right, so on the Ulf Samuelsson, Sturback, Fisher, Yegi Fisher, Pavel Kubina, Jamie Eward, Ian Moran, Larry Murphy, and Robert Zvela. Up front, it's Dopita, McEachern, Tsiplakov, Guy Carbonneau, Ron Francis, Bobby Elick, Mario Lemieux, Boyd Devereaux, Jaromir Jagr, Mike Greer, Nilsson, Roost, and Westlund. Interesting team. There's, you have like the three-headed Hydra with, the five-star players, and then there's some supporting cast. Excuse me, but not all that great. Alright, so Rob Blake plays with Gonchar, Bouillon with Numminen, and Jovanovski with Rafalski. Seriously, this is a pretty like by name recognition and everything. Like if you go back in time in 1999 and that is your top 6 on D, you have the best D in the league. That there's not even any debate that's possible there. Alright, so Johan Edberg is going to be our goaltender again. Jean-Sébastien Aubin is going to be the goaltender for Pittsburgh. Go Lightning, go, come on, don't let me down. And we won 4-3 again, so a pair of 4-3 victories to start the month here. So we're looking pretty good. Pittsburgh also outshot us 37-36 in that one. So Edberg had a decent game, especially considering some of the firepower that Pittsburgh has. Brian Rafalski was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jaromir Jagr was the second star with 3 assists, and Vili Peltonen was the third star with a goal. Alright, so Pittsburgh scored twice in the first period, and they were up 2-0 after one. And in the second period, Brian Rafalski scored from Keith Kitchuk and Martin Straka, then Marcus Naslund from Brian Rafalski and Alexander Mogilny, then Matt Sundin on the power play from Bill Guerin, and all of a sudden it was 3-2 Tampa Bay. But Pittsburgh would score before the end of the second period, made it 3-3 after 2. And then Vili Peltonen played the hero in the third period, with Sergei Gonchar getting the primary assist, so paying off right there, and Rob Blake also got an assist. Alright, so we won this game 4-3. Sergei Gonchar gets his first point as a Tampa Bay Lightning. And we have won our last 2 games. Ed Jovanovski is getting better playing on the left, which he should. He's a left shot. Alright, and now we're playing a second game in as many nights here. We're going to be hosting the Detroit Red Wings. Ronnie Sundin is available on waivers. I am not going to touch him. Oh, Detroit. That's going to be a tough game. So the Red Wings are 12-1 this season. So yeah, you heard that right. 12-1. So somebody managed to beat them. You heard that right. Yeah, they're not perfect. Alright, so let's take a look. Alright, so Ray Shepard is hurt for 1 to 2 months, so he's not going to be playing. In net, they have Byron Defoe and that Regan guy, Francis Cabardi, Nick Lidstrom, Yves Rassin, Dick Tarnstrom, Jeff Finlay, Chris Joseph, Jamie Pusher, and Skopintsev are the D-man. It's not even that great of a D. I mean, of course, they have Nick Lidstrom, but past that, it's really not all that scary. Travis Green, Michael Groshek, Mike Sillinger, Sean Bates, Sebastian Bordelot, Jim Dowd, Sergei Fedorov, Keith Primo, Steve Yzerman, Dallas Drake, Martin Lapointe, and Pankov, the forwards. So, of course, it hurts their lineup a little bit to not have Ray Shepard in it. Alright. Byron Defoe is going to be in net for the Wings. We are going to go to Nikolai Bibolin for that one. Alright, come on, Lightning. It's going to be tough. And we won 4-2, folks. So we're scoring 4 goals a game for this month. That's a very good average. I like it. We outshot the Red Wings 36-28. Matt Sundin was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Jeff Finley was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Vyacheslav Kozlov was the third star with a goal and an assist against his former team. 15,571 survolted fans were in the stands. We beat the Big Red Machine. Wait, was that the Russian team or was it the Red Wings? Or did they call the Red Wings that because they had so many Russians at one point? I don't remember. We beat the Red Wings 4-2. It's pretty cool. Alright, so 19 seconds into the first period, Rob Blake scored from Matt Sundin and Keith Tkachuk. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay at that point. Then Detroit tied the game, but then Vyacheslav Kozlov scored on the power play from Bill Guerin and Matt Sundin. It was 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. Then in the second period, Vili Peltonen scored from Sergei Gonchar, and then Martin Straka from Vyacheslav Kozlov. It was 4-1. And Detroit scored, made it 4-2. Nobody scored in the third. That was a 4-2 victory. Right, so Mike Knuble is available on waivers, and so is Alexei Troshchinsky. I'm not picking up Troshchinsky solely on the fact that I cannot pronounce his name. He could have been a 5-star player. I wouldn't have picked him up. It would have been too hard for me to do this. Oh boy. Same reason I'm not gonna pick up Wade Double Wicks, or I don't know how to say his name, as you all know. So yeah. Alright, so Sergei Fyodorov did extend his point streak to 15 games. He did pick up an assist in that game against us, so we weren't able to completely stop him. There was a trade between Dallas and Atlanta, so Oleg Schmil, I think that would be how it's pronounced, goes to Atlanta for Tony Urkus. Now Tony Urkus goes to Dallas. Not a huge trade. Compared to ours, yeah. Alright, so we're about to play the Washington Capitals. Speaking of huge trades, so that's the team we traded with, of course. So Washington is 3-7-3. That's good for 14th in the East. So the trade so far is not really benefiting them. Alright, they have Steve Konowalchuk that's hurt. He's not going to play. In net, it's Craig Bennington and Olaf Kolzig, so that shouldn't be too bad. Kolzig was a pretty good goaltender. He played on some shady teams for a while, but he was always a pretty solid goaltender. Kelly Johansson, Steve Smith, Adrian Aucoin, Kevin Hatcher, Ken Klee, and Marek Zidlicki on D. Shane Corson, Dmitry Ristich, Jean-Yves Leroux, Scott Thornton, Todd Warner, Rintanen, Dag, Drury, Pivanka, Shitaroni, Shupin, Thornton, Bondra, Velicevic, and Ramoser. That team's not very good, folks. So, of course, I said that they're probably going to beat us, but yeah, it's struggling over there in Washington. Alright, we're going to go back to Johan Edberg for that game. He has 2 fires to his name, and he's going to be facing Olaf Kolzig, who has a snowflake to his name. Oh, we won this 6-1. Awesome. We completely outshot Washington 46-14 in that game. Francis Bouillon, of all people, was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Bill Guerin was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Teppo Numminen was the third star with an assist. Washington scored first, 11 seconds into the game. Yeah, that didn't look too good at that point. But then Ryan Smith tied the game late in the period from Martin Straka. It was 1-1 after 1. Then we scored 4 goals in the second period. Bill Guerin scored from Markus Neslund and Vili Peltonen. Vyacheslav Kozlov scored from Bill Guerin and Steve Rutchin. Francis Bouillon from Teppo Numminen and Vyacheslav Kozlov. Matt Sundin on the power play. That was his 10th of the season from Sergei Gonchar and Martin Straka. It was 5-1 after 2. Then in the third period, Scott Young scored from Ryan Smith and Francis Bouillon. That was a 6-1 trouncing of the Caps. Looks like Mike Ratchie is hurt, playing in San Jose. What was originally thought to be a mild hamstring pull has turned out to be a little more serious for San Jose defenseman Mike Ratchie. According to the team doctor, the injury could keep Ratchie out of action for at least another couple of weeks. It's a little worse than we expected at first, said the doctor. We want to give it sufficient time to heal so he doesn't flare up again later on. So apparently he was running when that happened. I would like more context. What was he running from? Was it, a dog? A maniac? Why was he running? Or was he just trying to stay in shape? Because if that's what he was trying to do, he failed. So I would like more context, please. Yeah. Alright, we have a couple days off and then we're back home for one game where we're going to host the Buffalo Sabres. Andrew Castles has recorded 600 points in his career. He got a goal and an assist against the Islanders. Andrew Castles is 30 years old and he is still a 3-star player. Sergei Fedorov extended his point streak to 16 games with a goal and an assist against Dallas. And Sergei Zubov extends his assist streak to 8 games with an assist against the Suns. And Sergei Zubov's assist streak ended at 8 games, did not get an assist or a point in the following game against the Caps. So you're already old news, Zubov. Alright, Buffalo's in town, so they're doing a little bit better than they were last time that we played them. They are now 8-8. That's good for 5th in the East. And we did lose against Buffalo this season. We lost 3-2 in Buffalo, so we are 0-1 against them. This time it's on our turf, so let's see if we can win this. Dominik Hasek is going to be in net for this game. We're going to go to Nikolai Abibulin. And apparently we cannot beat the Buffalo Sabres this season. They beat us 5-2. Abibulin didn't have a good game. Hasek had an awesome game, and that made all of the difference. We completely outshot Buffalo 48-29, but lost 5-2. Bill Older was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Brian Holzinger was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Dominik Hasek, third star with 46 saves. 13,907 people were sitting in the stands wondering, what the heck? What the hell? That's what they were saying. So, 10 seconds in, Rob Blake scored from Matt Sundin, and then a little bit later, Ryan Smith scored from Martin Straka and Scott Young. It was 2-0 Tampa Bay. It looked like we were going to do our usual. And then Buffalo did score, made it 2-1 Tampa Bay after one. It wasn't too catastrophic. We were still up 1, but then in the second period, Buffalo tied the game. It was tied at 2 heading into the third period, and then we just didn't play very well in the third and allowed 3 goals, although the third one was in an empty net. So we lost 5-2. We are not invincible after all. Oh, Fedorov is day-to-day. Injury again against Pittsburgh, but before getting hurt, he did notch an assist to extend his point streak to 17 games. Alright, now we are back on the road for a couple games. That starts in Carolina against the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are 7-2. That's good for 6th in the East. We haven't played them so far this year, so let's see what they have in store for us. Well, they have no injuries, so that's going to be the best lineup they have to offer. Chris Osgood and Ryan Miller are in net. Ryan Miller is 19. He's only an alpha star player. He's not developed yet. Yanni Locanen, former Tampa Bay Lightning. Brian McCabe, Eric Weinrich, Zardy Zalewski, Aki Berg, Adam Burt, Odek Deverdovsky, and Chris Bartolone on D. There's a couple decent names there. Murray Craven, Patrick Marleau, Daniel Zubrus, Frederick Modine, Peter Schaefer, Petrovicki, Castles, Poulin, Sanderson, Doan, Gregg, Karpov, and McCarthy up front. It's not that terrible of a team. I mean, there's not a whole lot of superstar power here, but it's a decently rounded team. Alright, we're going to go back to Johan Edberg for this game. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for Carolina. Go Lightning, come on. That's another victory, 4-2. Alright, so it looks like the Buffalo game was only a blip on the radar. We outshot Carolina 43-26 in that one. Rob Blake was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Andrew Castles was the second star with 2 assists. And Matt Sundin was the third star with 2 assists as well. Alright, so we scored early again in that one. Vyacheslav Kozlov scored his 10th on the power play from Sergei Gonchar. Then Rob Blake from Matt Sundin and Ryan Smith. 2-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Then nobody scored in the second period. Then in the third, Carolina did score, but Rob Blake scored his 5th from Vyacheslav Kozlov and Steve Rutchin, and then Keith Kitchuk scored his 5th as well from Sergei Gonchar and Matt Sundin. It was 4-1 at that point. Carolina did have a little bit of fight back. They got a goal before the end of the third, made it 4-2. It was too little too late, and the Lightning won this 4-2. So apparently Sergei Fedorov played injured and he couldn't extend his point streak against Toronto, so it ended at 17 games. And in that same game, strong game for Kent Manderville, who had a hat-trick. We have 3 days off, and then we're going to be playing in Atlanta against the Thrashers yet again. Alright, so Atlanta is 3-9-3. So they are still dead last in the East. We are 1-0-1 against Atlanta this season. Let's see if we can beat them again. We started the month against them with a 4-3 victory. We're going to have Johan Edberg in net for that one. Roman Turek is going to be in net for the Thrashers. And we lost 4-3. Oh, God. We outshot them 36-27. Valery Bure, former Tampa Bay Lightning, was the first star of the game with a goal and an assist. Boris Mironov was the second star with 2 assists. And which Miller is it? Kip Miller was the third star with 2 assists. God, were all the goals scored in the first or something? No, almost. Alright, so again, we scored early. Sergei Gonchar scored 15 seconds into the game, assisted by Rob Blake. It was 1-0 for us. Then the Thrashers scored twice, made it 2-1 Atlanta. Then we scored twice. Matt Sundin from Boris Mironov and Ryan Smith, and then Steve Rutchin from Vili Peltonen and Boris Mironov. 3-2 Tampa Bay at that point, but Atlanta tied the game before the end of the period. It was tied at 3 after 1. There was a fight between Lilo Deline and Rob Blake. That's not good. Lilo Deline took Rob Blake out for 5 minutes. Then Atlanta scored in the second period, made it 4-3 Atlanta, and absolutely nothing happened in the third period, not even a penalty. We lost that 4-3. Peter Sheslivy is getting to feel better playing on the right wing, apparently. Alright, and now we're going to be playing at home against Pittsburgh for 1 game. Then we're going to hit the road for 1 game. Then we're going to be playing the rest of the month at home. Ooh, that's going to hurt Dallas there. They lost Modano for basically the rest of the season. 6 months, a torn ACL. So Modano is out. Of course, Dallas traded for Yashin, so I guess Yashin is now the first line center, but I thought that they had a pretty good 1-2 punch with Modano and then Yashin. But yeah, Modano's done. Bundra is hurt for 3 weeks in Washington. And oh wow, that happened against Dallas, so I don't know what happened in that game, but 2 star players got hurt. Alright, so we're playing Pittsburgh again. We did beat them 4-3 earlier in the month. Now Pittsburgh is playing a little bit better than they were when we last saw them. They are 8-6-2. That's good for 6th in the East. And we are 1-0 against them. We need a bounce back game. Jean-Sébastien Aubin in net for Pittsburgh. We're going to go to Nikolai Abibulin, who is struggling to get any consistency. But we won 3-1. We kind of stifled Pittsburgh's offense. That's pretty cool. And they outshot us 39-24 too. Boris Mironov was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Robert Zvela was the second star with an assist. And Nikolai Abibulin was the third star with 38 saves. 13,042 people in attendance for this game. Markus Naslund opened up the scoring in the first from Teppo Numminen. And then Pittsburgh tied the game about 8 minutes later. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Matt Sundin scored from Vyacheslav Kozlov and Bill Guerin, and then Ed Jovanovski from Boris Mironov and Brian Rafalski. Wow, 3 defensemen. You don't see that very often. So it was 3-1 Tampa Bay after 2. And nobody scored in the third, so 3-1 victory for the Lightning. There was no stopping Mariusz Czerkawski with Boston. 4 goals and an assist against the Rangers. And Pavel Bure also had a good game in LA. 3 goals and an assist against Phoenix. Alright, one more day off, and then we're playing home and home against the Flyers. Dave Andreychuk played in 1,250 games in his career. Of course, playing for Buffalo still. No points for him in that game. 36 years old. Dave Andreychuk, still a 3-star player. Alright, playing at Flyers. They are 7-10-3, so not doing too good in Philly. They are 10th in the East. We have not played them this season. Let's see what's going on here. So Sergei Berezin is hurt. He's not going to be playing. And Jan Nemesek is also hurt. Not going to be playing. And Samuel Paulson is hurt. He may or may not play this game. So in net, the Flyers have Trevor Kidd and Kevin Weeks. On D, it's Gary Galley, Chris Therien, Peter Retchuk, Steve Montador, Brian Elmer, Darren Van Imp. Not a great D at all. Gary Galley's getting old. He can't carry that D anymore. Rob DiMaio, Damon Lenko, Brad Isbister, Sammy Paulson, Rod Brennamore, Greg Johnson, Saku Koivu, Eric Lindros, Dave Scatchard, Campbell, Reki, Walls, Pankov, Yevstyukin, and Ronquist up front. Alright, let's see if we can beat the Flyers. We're going to go with Johan Edberg in net. They are going to go with Kevin Weeks. And it is a 2-0 victory. Johan Edberg raises to 3 fires under his name. We were outshot 31-22 in this game, but we managed to win 2-0 nonetheless. Johan Edberg was the first star of the game. He had 31 saves, the shutout, and the W. Mark Recchi was the second star without a point, and Sergei Gonchar was the third star with 2 assists. Alright, so Ryan Smith scored in the first period. That was his 5th of the season on the power play from Bill Guerin and Sergei Gonchar. It was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. And then we have to go all the way to the third period to see Rob Blake score from Vili Peltonen and Sergei Gonchar. 2-0 Tampa Bay. That it was our final score. Awesome. Memorable night for Jaromir Jagr. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Florida Panthers. Brett Hull extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Sharks. Oh, Mike Eastwood is done for the season in Toronto with a torn UCL. He is out for 7 months. Lots of long-term injuries in November so far. Thankfully, we've been spared so far. Alright, so we're playing the Flyers again. That's the second of the home and home. They are 7-11-3 now, and they dropped all the way to 12th. They're going to go with Kevin Weeks again. We're going to go with Johan Edberg again. Both goaltenders have 3 Flyers under their name. And oh my god, Edberg shut out the Flyers for a second game in a row, and he gained a fire out of it. So this time we won 4-0. We outshot the Flyers 38-25. Boris Mironov was the first star of the game with a goal and an assist. Scott Young was the second star with a goal and an assist as well. Steve Ruchin was the third star with 2 assists. 14,608 people in attendance for the game. Nobody scored in the first period. Then we scored 3 times in the second. Rob Blake from Matt Sundin. Then Scott Young scored his 5th from Martin Straka and Boris Mironov. Then Boris Mironov from Steve Ruchin and Vyacheslav Kozlov. It was 3-0 after 2. Then in the third period, Teppo Numminen scored short-handed from Steve Ruchin and Scott Young. 4-0 the final score. Oh yeah. It's on. Alexei Morozov was apparently suspended. I don't remember seeing him being suspended, but his suspension is over now. So back in the lineup in Dallas. Alright, so we have 3 games left here in November, all at home. And it starts tomorrow against the Rangers. Right, the Rangers are 10-7-4. That's good for 3rd in the East. We have not played them this season. Right, so Eric Kearns is hurt. He's not going to be playing. Lubos Barteshko is hurt as well. He's not going to play. And Chris Ferraro is hurt. He may or may not play. Right, so in that, the Rangers have Fred Brathwaite and Mike Richter, Brett Edekin, Brian Leach, Kopat, Lesishin, Wilson, Zubov, Robida on D. Oh, Mikael Anderson is with the Rangers now. How is Mikael doing? No points in 8 games. Right, so Mikael Anderson, PJ Axelson, Adam Graves, Dubinsky, Ferraro, Messier, Mowers, Esht, Turcotte, Waite, Prochaska, Kovalev, Belavskis, and Tony Amonte. Yeah, there's talent on this team. That's why they have a good record. Mike Richter in net for the Rangers. We are going to go to Johan Edberg. Oh, that's a 2-1 loss. That sucks. Looks like Richter just outplayed Edberg a little bit, just enough to make a difference. We outshot the Rangers 35-33. Oh, look at that. Mikael Anderson woke up against his former team and got his 2 first points of the season, 2 assists in the first star. Matt Sundin was the second star with a goal, and Curtis Lesishin was the third star with a goal as well. 15,354 people in attendance for this one. So Rangers scored twice in the first period, and it was 2-0 Rangers after 1. And in the second period, Matt Sundin scored from Boris Mironov and Martin Straka. It was 2-1, but we just couldn't generate another goal. And we lost 2-1. Alright, we have one more day off, and then we're going to be playing against the Carolina Hurricanes. Mike Eagles is suspended with the Flames. He's going to miss 3 games. Ryan Smith is day-to-day. Bruised wrist sustained in practice. Oh, he's not going to be able to play with it. Okay. Somebody else is going to step in. Alright, the Hurricanes are now 11-9-2. That's good for 4th in the East. We are 1-0 against the Hurricanes this season. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for Carolina. We are going to Nikolai Abibulin. And we won 4-2. Just like we did the first game in Carolina. It was a 4-2 win for us as well back then. We outshot the Hurricanes 43-27. Keith Tkachuk was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Mark Gregg was the second star with an assist. And Matt Sundin was the third star with a goal. 14,883 people in attendance for this game. Carolina opened up the scoring in the first, but then Brian Rafalski scored on the power play from Sergei Gonchar and Vyacheslav Kozlov, then Matt Sundin from Vyacheslav Kozlov and Scott Young. 2-1 Tampa Bay after 1. We added to our lead in the second period with Teppo Numminen scoring from Bill Guerin and Keith Tkachuk. 3-1 after 2. Then Carolina scored, made it 3-2 Tampa Bay, but with 1:53 seconds left to go in the game, Rob Blake scored on the power play from Marcus Naslund and Alexander McGillney. It was a 4-2 victory for the Lightning. Ooh, that's going to hurt Detroit. They don't have a good D, and Nick Lidstrom is now hurt for 4 weeks. I've been playing this game a very long time since the first version, and I cannot remember Nick Lidstrom being hurt for any sustained amount of time. Like, kind of like in real life, it feels like Nick Lidstrom was never hurt or something. He was pretty consistent. Anyway, he's out for 4 weeks, with a fractured cheekbone. Mark Recchi got to 900 points in his career. Alright, that happened against Toronto. 2 assists for Recchi in that game. 31 years old, Mark Recchi is still a 4-star player. So now we have another player that got hurt outside of a game with a facial cut sustained in practice. Oh, he can play through it though. Ryan Smith still cannot play. Alright, so we're about to host the team that's really giving us fits this season, the Buffalo Sabres. They are now 11-12. That's good for 7th in the East. We are 0-2 against Buffalo. We are not facing against them very good. Dominik Hasek is going to be in net for Buffalo. We are going to Johannesburg. Come on, I'd like a win to end the month. Thank you. So it's a 4-3 victory here against the Sabres. We outshot them 40-32. Martin Straka was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Rob Zamuner was the second star with 2 goals. Steve Ruchin, despite a gaping wound in his face, was a third star with 2 goals. 14,551 people in attendance for the game. Alright, so Bill Guerin scored in the first period from Sergei Gonchar. Then Steve Ruchin from Martin Straka, and Steve Ruchin again. That was his 5th from Marcus Naslund and Rob Blake. 3-0 Tampa Bay here after 1. And Buffalo scored twice in the second period to make it 3-2, but Vyacheslav Kozlov scored from Brian Rafalski. 4-2 Tampa Bay after 2. And then in the third period, Buffalo scored. It was 4-3, but they ran out of time, and we got the win. Oh, Steve Ruchin is hurt day-to-day further than what he was, I guess. Alright, so that's it for the month. I'm gonna sim until the end of the month, then it looks like we're gonna go on a Western California. What a odd schedule. So we're gonna go play on December 1st in Anaheim. Then the very next day we have to fly all the way to Phoenix to play against the Coyotes so that we can fly back to LA to play against the Kings and then play against the Sharks. You would think like it would be Anaheim, LA Kings, San Jose, and then Phoenix underneath that, but I guess not. The league has become a lot better. Like nowadays, for their trips, they make a little bit more sense than they used to. But anyway. Alright. Yeah, I'd love to be able to sign Mike Dunham, but I cannot. I tried. Alright, so we are officially on December 1st. Alright, there was no stopping Shane Doan, who had a hat trick, 3 goals against the Flames. Ryan Smith is feeling better. And the players of the month were Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh and Mika Kiprusov in Ottawa. Alright, so we had a pretty good month, folks. So it looks like my trade did not backfire after all. So it is a new shiny feeling for me. It feels good. So yeah, our good month propelled us all the way to the top of the standings in the East. So we are number 1. And it looks pretty good that way. We have a couple day-to-day injuries, but nothing to be too worried about. So yeah. Oh wow, Washington is not doing so good after that trade, and the outlook is win now, and they're terrible. Yeah, the Capitals are not doing too good. Alright, let's take a look with what's going on in the West there. So in the West, we have... Oh, San Jose is first. So, Detroit kind of slid there. Like, when we faced them, we ended them only their second loss of the season. But now they are 16-7-1. Now, don't get me wrong, that's a really good record. That's actually one more win than us. Although they did play one more game. But yeah, that's... Yeah, they slid a little bit. So San Jose is first, Colorado, Detroit, LA, Vancouver, Phoenix, St. Louis, and Calgary. And the worst team in the league is the Chicago Blackhawks. They have 12 points. Alright, let's take a look at our stats. Alright, so Matt Sundin has awakened people. So remember, I was a little bit disappointed with his, with what I got from him after the trade last year and everything. Yeah, he's easier to play now. 30 points in 23 games. That's very good. And then we have Vyacheslav Kozlov, who has 21 points in 23 games. Also pretty good. It looks like our best defenseman is Rob Blake with 15 points in 19 games. So Rob Blake is close to a point per game as a defenseman. That's also awesome. Then Gonchar is close to a point per game. I think he was hurt because he had only played 4 games when I got him after at the time of the trade. He had only 4 games played, so he's almost a point per game. 14 points in 17 games. That's really good. So yeah, we are looking pretty sharp, folks, I would think. Now let's take a look in the league and see who's doing what where. So the best goal scorer is Pavel Bure with 19 goals this season. Best passer is Joe Sakic with 27 assists, and the best scorer is Joe Sakic with 34 points. Matt Sundin is third with 30. So we have, in this run, we have never had anybody that high as far as points go, I don't think. So we are looking pretty good statistically as well. Now we have kind of split the work for the goaltenders, so I'm not really expecting to see like us anywhere in any of those stats. Mostly because we might not qualify. So yeah, alright, so big trade turns out to be a pretty good one this time. Is it going to be enough to win the cup? I'm still weak in nets, so that might be what kills me. But I've done everything else that I could to make this team better. I think that I managed to do that. I mean, there's some serious firepower now on that team. It's we ain't pushovers no more. But anyway, so that's gonna be it for today. I'm gonna go ahead and you know what happens at this point at that junction. I save the game. And then I want to thank you for tuning in as usual. And if you've liked the video and you would like to help support me and my channel, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.